Hooah! And I bet you're wondering why this is presented by a pirate. Well, I'll tell you. It's because... Sorry about that. I do like that. Okay, it's enough of that. What we're here for is to present a story, a children's story. And it's a children's story called A Rather Strange Christmas Day. And it's by Ray Braithwaite, that's me, and Suzanne Campbell. And Suzanne is the one who's done all of the illustrations. All right, let us begin. It was the morning of Christmas, and all through the house everything was stirring, especially that mouse. Stockings, previously hung by the chimney with care, were now quite literally scattered everywhere. The boys were opening their presents at an alarming rate, when I heard a kerfuffle at our front gate. I went to the door just to look out, and at what I saw I gave an alarming shout. Ah! Oh, sorry about that. Whoops. Lying on the floor was a tiny bearded man, all dressed in red, with a hood covered in soot pulled over his head. I was shocked and confused, as anyone might be. Lying on the ground was Father Christmas, and he was looking at me. Shaking his head, he said, "Don't just stare. Give me a hand. I fell off my sleigh, and now I can't stand." I picked up the little elf and carried him inside. The pain on his face he found difficult to hide. Yet he had a twinkle in his eye and a cheeky grin, and I wondered just what would I do with him. "I've got some magic lotion in my pocket," said he, "and that should get me patched up and be ready to be out of here by tea." I took him to the parlour and laid him down with such care. He seemed so small and lost in that massive armchair. And there's the magic potion. Still he winked and smiled and was so filled with glee. And then he asked a really big favour of me. Oh, no. When I fell from the sleigh, my dear were filled with such fear. And I need you to find them and bring them back here. Because without me close by, our magic will fade and we all will die. I went to the lounge and I told my missus, and she sent me reindeer hunting with a hug and some kisses. She said, "It's important, you must find them, my dear. The children must have the magic again of Christmas every next year." One quick look in the parlour and I saw him asleep. Then I took from the kitchen a tin of maize that's often used for the feeding of sheep. I figured reindeer might eat this stuff too, and then I left the house without further ado. I looked everywhere for those reindeer, hoping quite soon they'd magically appear. I looked down the streets and in every alley. I looked in every park, in every place I could see. I even looked in the boughs of every big tree, but I saw nothing hiding nor looking back at me. I called out their names in a very quiet way. I didn't want to get children worried on this Christmas day. I was cold, I was hungry, and it was close to noon. If I didn't find them, they would begin to fade very soon. Then Christmas would be lost, and this would be our last. Oh, but how the time was moving so fast. Santa said they could all survive until tea time, so giving up now would be such a crime. Then a surprise, and out of the blue, I saw my wife, and she'd brought the boys too. We had a chat with Santa, Mary said. "Oh, Bill, I'm afraid his leg's getting better, but he's beginning to fade." Mary had come in the car and had brought turkey sandwiches for lunch, and as we scoffed them down, I had something of a hunch. I said I thought a bond of magic must be linking them all. So little Billy stepped out of the car to give them a really loud call. Come Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen. Come Stupid, Cupid, and Comet and Donner and Blitzen. Santa needs you, he took a big fall. He's at our place and he needs you all. The magic is going away, and if you don't reunite, it'll all be gone before the start of this Christmas night. Then out of the corner of my right eye, it seemed to me I saw a sleigh with little reindeer pass by. We drove back to our house and turned into the street. Then what we saw caused our hearts to all miss a beat. The reindeer, now just shadowy figures indeed, were all on our roof pouring the slates as if in great need. Then Father Christmas climbed out of our chimney, but it was just as we feared. The reindeer and Santa had almost disappeared. Santa looked like a shadow of his former self, not at all like that smiling, twinkling, cheeky little elf. I stopped the car, not knowing what else to do. Was this the end of Santa, his reindeer, and Christmas too? But as Santa got close to his reindeer and sleigh, things began to change on this Christmas day. As he gently touched each deer, it started to snow, and Father Christmas, his reindeer and sled began to glow. He mounted his sledge, and they were soon flying high. And Father Christmas waved us a very cheery, cheery goodbye. We entered the house feeling quite sad, but by the time we sat down we were all feeling very glad. We had saved Santa, his reindeer, and Christmas too, and that doesn't happen often, let me tell you. But then, strangely tired, we all fell asleep, only to wake up when the oven went bleep. Now, after all that had happened, strange as it may seem, we looked at each other and wondered had it all been a dream. But just then I saw a note tied to a toe on my right foot. The message read, "Christmas saved, thank you," and it was written in soot. The end. A rather strange Christmas day.